Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reviewing this kind of silicone sponge. I actually found it at my local Forever 21 and I've actually been using it for like a couple of weeks now. I'd say like about 2 weeks now. I'll show you clips of me applying foundation with it. I'll be in a completely different setup. I was filming a first impressions video on it, but then I was like, you know what? First impression, I did really like it and I was like, okay, but can I use it consistently? Could it replace other makeup sponges that I have? Could it replace brushes? Because I'm a big lover of like makeup brushes to apply foundation and concealer. I was like, can I actually use it consistently as opposed to just, that first impression? So when you see me apply it in the clips, it's actually like the first time that I ever used it, but I have used it more frequently since then. So yeah, so if you want to see my thoughts on this sponge from Forever 21, then keep on watching. Like I said, I have been using it for 2 weeks. The sponge is in a shape of a teardrop and it's literally like really like spongy. It almost feels like those like stress balls that you squeeze. So it did retail for $7 Canadian, so I didn't think it was that expensive in order just to give it a shot. I remember when silicone sponges were first coming out, probably like a year ago, and I know everybody was like ordering them online and I think they were like around $13. So when I saw this one I was like, oh, that's pretty inexpensive in comparison to like the OG SILICONE, I think it was called. And I know that other brands have like replicated it. I know like Milk Cosmetics has one. I saw it at Sephora and I think that one's $19 and it's literally like the same shape as this one. Except that it says milk on it and it has glitter on it. I know that Smashbox has come out with one too, which actually has like ridges on it and it's like a grayish or like a black color. I don't know how much that one retails for and I haven't actually seen it in store, so I'm not really sure like if you can just order it online. But I did see someone review that one. I think it was Nicole Concilio. And she really liked it. I think she said that the ridges in it made it like easier to kind of blend the foundation. But anyway, so in comparison to those, this one was only $7. So I did take the plunge. And then I like that it has like this pointy tip. I do find it really practical there in terms of like blending my concealer. And I do like the fat part of it because I use that to blend out my foundation. And then I tend to like squeeze it kind of. I don't know if you can see, like I fold it and then pat. So yeah, so I did try it with a couple of foundations. I used it, the first day I used the Makeup Forever foundation. You'll see me using it. And I do apply it with the sponge, like with the foundation on the sponge first, and then just apply the foundation on my face and then use the sponge afterwards. I didn't find like that there's any real difference, but I do find that when you put it on your face already, the sponge like uses the product more in terms of like it's easier to kind of spread around as opposed to putting it on the sponge where it kind of just ends up sticking a little bit more to the place where you pat it first. So I like it better putting the foundation on my face and then going in with the sponge to blend it out. But then in order to actually blend it out, the dab motion definitely works the best. I also found that it actually does blend out my foundation. I tried to use it with a cream foundation with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation and it was kind of a mess. It didn't really blend it out and it's just because cream foundations are thicker. And even with sponges, just with like normal sponges, I find it really difficult to blend out cream foundations and stick foundations. I actually prefer brushes. I just think it like needs a little bit more of a tug in order to really blend it out, while liquid foundations tend to blend a little easier. So for liquid foundations, this works really well. I also liked it with concealer. Again, I tried to use it with like cream concealers. Like I have the NARS creamy matte concealer, which comes in the jar, and again it just doesn't really, it's not effective with it. And I think again it's because it's a cream instead of a liquid. With my liquid concealers, this honestly blends it out, and it really maximizes the coverage. And I think that's the #1 pro about this, that this maximizes the coverage of the product you're using. So I found myself using less foundation than I normally would with a sponge and even a brush. And it's really because this really doesn't absorb any of it. And it's really easy to clean. As soon as you're done, literally you just put it under the sink, under the running water, and it's literally back to like its clear self. Like if you have wrist problems and things like that, this is probably not for you, only because I find myself actually feeling tension in my wrist when I'm using it, because I'm like curving it or like dabbing. Another kind of con with it is that it's not fast. Like I find that I can blend out my foundation faster with a brush or a sponge as opposed to this. Even though it does blend out, it takes a little extra effort to blend out because you're dabbing so much. So if you really want like a quick tool for you, you know, early mornings, you just want to blend your foundation like in 10 seconds or something, this is not for you. This is not going to do it. This takes a little bit more time. Which I don't mind if I have the time, because I do like the finish that the foundation has when I use it. Like I said, I actually used it today to use, I used the sponge today to blend out my concealer and my foundation. I think those are like my biggest cons with it. But overall, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's terrible. I like that it's an easy thing to clean. I hate cleaning sponges because you're literally there trying to get all the product out because it literally absorbs your product. I like that I'm not wasting product when I'm using it, and I do like the finish that the sponge gives. Like it really gives you like full coverage, which I think is a plus. Usually with like other sponges, because it's absorbing the foundation, you know, it's kind of taking away some of the coverage. Like I find that a lot of people in the beauty community are very heavy-handed with product. You know, I see a lot of people like on YouTube or in pictures or in mini videos or in things like that, and they put on a ton of concealer or like so much foundation on their face. And you know, if that's what you're doing, then yeah, the sponge, like a typical sponge, like a beauty blender, sure, really helps with that because it's taking away excess product that you actually don't need. But then at the same time, you have to think, well, it's taking away extra product. Like, you know, you're going to go through your products more often. So I think that this helps in kind of like product control, so you're not wasting product. And I think also that, you know, it also reminds you that, hey, I don't need like 4 pumps of a full coverage foundation to get the full coverage. I actually only need like 2. Like I said, is something that I found a lot using my foundation that I wasn't using as much as I would if I used a brush or a regular sponge. So I think it does help, and I think overall the main thing is that it does function. Overall, I think that the sponge is actually really good for the price. I think that I wouldn't actually pay more than what I did for the sponge, just because, like I said, I don't think I can use it all the time. Like if I'm in a hurry, I'm not really going to use it because I know I need a little bit more time to get the finished product that I want. But I definitely like the coverage that it gives, the fact that I don't use so much of my products and waste my products, and I do like how it blends out. So I hope you learned something new today. If I can find it on Forever 21's website, I will link it down below so that you can have access to the sponge as well. But yeah, I hope, like I said, that you learned something new, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye guys.